Welcome to Stone Tower Temple. Again. But now, everything's upside down. Now, there is a really fun speedrun type trick where you, like, use a bomb to launch yourself over to grab that ledge. It's really tricky. I've not gotten it very well down. I'm not good at it. We're not going to bother. And also, I do want to kind of do this temple legit for better and worse. You shot that. That gave me that chest. Alright. Onward. We no longer need mirrors. Important note, we can hookshot our way up to chests. And now this room that was filled with water is very much not filled with water. Question becomes, do I have to float in there? Or can I hookshot that chest? There we go. Would it have been faster to just float down? Probably at that point. I don't wanna. It occurs to me that that sun is upside down here, but that would have all been underwater below, or before. So, no, there is no way. We do have to do multiple trips in Basic World. Sometimes in this game, you just completely forget how to play one of the songs. Nailed it. So what's fun is, this is the room that had all the water, and we still have the hand here that throws us into this tunnel. It throws us upwards. It used to throw us the other upward, which is now down. But it lets us grab that money. There is also a fun speedrunning trick. I've never managed to get this one right, where you do a weird bomb jump thing and manage to hop over onto that walkway, which is basically right before the boss. I haven't managed to do that ever. Not even once. It's like, Link, why are you going not towards the thing? And it's like, oh, right, they broke the Z targeting when I stole its mask. Anyway. It's a key. We probably need that for the last door that we want to go through. Yep. We needed that key. And this is where we get into the fun stuff of this dungeon. There is just a vertical wall here in the middle of the room. How do we get over to that door? Wait, there's one of those red jewels, and also, oh my, there's lava. The ceiling, it's not the floor that is lava, it's the ceiling. Now it's the floor. And if we wanted to, we could turn into a Goron and not just sit there and take fire damage. But now we can't reach our door. One more flip. There we go. We have things to flip. We might as well flip them. We can see that there is a switch up there, or rather a Majora mask block base. Here we have a Majora mask block. And this is pretty lightly to be considered a puzzle. It is very much like you just kind of look around you, you see, oh, I have a block. I have a place to push a block to. And then it becomes all about the execution, and like, the puzzle is more so keeping your orientation and not losing that. The number of times I've done this room and just like gotten kind of lost in the sauce of just like, oh yeah, push it over this way and then the next way and then, oh wait, no, I've been pushing it away from the target switch. Oops. It happens. Like, it happens a fair amount with this, and it's less about solving the puzzle than it is executing on the solution that you've been able to see pretty much the entire time. It's like, it's not a difficult puzzle to solve. It's not necessarily difficult to execute on. But it can actually be somewhat easy to, like, lose your bearings and start executing incorrectly. Guess who's back? Guess who still appears on the minimap? And is largely a nuisance, and not actually a threat. Wizard is like, I think, where you feel this game's extremely limited development time the most. It's the, we wanted a mini-boss for this dungeon, but we didn't have time to actually implement one, so we're just going to use Wizrobe again. And to its credit, Wizrobe, as a design and as the basis, is versatile in that it feels somewhat different each time you fight Wizrobe. Because, originally you fight him in just, a small square room, and there's just 4 panels in each of the corners. Hardly anything to write home about. Second time you fight him, which unfortunately is in the same dungeon, there's a lot more panels. Also, hey, the only place where you can find regular old pose. I think the main failings of Wizrobe, aside from, the general absolute nonsense of, he just shows up on the minimap. My dude, you're supposed to smash that like button, I guess. Anyhow, I think the main failing of Wizrobe is that he does just show up so many times in this game. And twice in the same dungeon. And, really the only extra mixture that his appearance offers here, which, again, is pretty close to the last time we would have fought him if, I hadn't have, cheated. If I hadn't skipped the Wizrobe fight in Ikana Castle, then we would have fought him, really not very long ago at all. And that kind of sucks. He's really just a chump of a boss. He is largely a joke. He is, unfortunately, really overused and appears much too often. I forgot that was a key and, actually required for progress, as opposed to just a fairy. What is across there? Oh, right, that's what's across there. That's the way to the boss key. That's important. I don't think this door locks behind me, but just in case, we'll continue forward. I don't know, overall, Wizrobe, he is kind of a versatile boss in the ways that he could be set up. The unfortunate thing is that he just appears too often, and he appears too often and much too frequently. I think it's more so the frequency that he shows up when he does show up. It's you get him twice in Snowhead, and then you get him twice in Ikana as well. And actually a third time. Time for one of the coolest looking Zelda mini-bosses. And of course, I went and got myself cursed. Jinxed, whatever they call it. Right before this fight, but, well, hey. We have the Song of Storms. So, to heck with that. It's Gomez. There'll be no end if... There'll be no end to it if you can't get those bats away from it. Does that shed any light on the situation? Can I have a turn, please? He does hit quite quite hard. Link, there you go. You got the boss key. Now you can enter the chamber where the boss lurks. Hooray! It is interesting that well, no, we did get a dungeon item because all the dungeon items are arrow flavors. I don't know, I'm still thinking about Wizard. Just like, it really does hurt him that he shows up so frequently. And that he does also show up on the minimap, and that he does also just... like, when he does show up, he shows up again. Just like, hey, it's time to introduce this mini-boss. Hey, it's time to refight this mini-boss. And he goes dormant for a bit while you do water temple things, and then all of a sudden in Ikana, he's just like, and I'm back! Speaking of back, we're back over here. Let's see how many of these I can hit. Problem solved. Why do I still have a key? I must need it for the door up there. Yeah, there's the lock. Look, can't you use the hookshot to get to that chest? I do appreciate that they have Tattle there to do, like, the... Hey, in case we didn't explain this very well, slash, like, in case you don't immediately see what you're supposed to do, or just... Did you get confused in any way, shape, or form? You have Tattle there as the backup kind of safety net for things. Anyway, it's Igor. I don't need to conserve magic. We're gonna do this the... That's fun. I didn't realize that you didn't get your magic refunded if you put your light arrows away. That's rude. I think it's also changing the randomizer, maybe? I don't remember that being a thing, and I haven't played the base game for a bit, so... Anyway. Hey, fancy item. You got the Giant's Mask. Within this mask lies the might of a giant, but can you use its power anywhere? Not here. So, hey, there's that switch that we would have to hit and then come back later. Turns out we need that chest for movement, not so much the fairy inside, but also I want the fairy inside. Sells a few more rupees, and then, hey, look at all these pots over here. And also one of those jerks. Where are we? So this is the room that we fought the Garo Master in, where there was a hole in the ceiling for him to jump down from. Just its head and tail aren't protected by its hard exoskeleton, so aim carefully. If only you were the same size as it. So, we have the two suggested ways of fighting this in that one hint. The first being hey, take aim carefully. Losing your magic, expending magic even though you get hit or otherwise lose your charge, doesn't feel great. Anyway, so that is one way, is you can just sit here and shoot things down. And as it turns out, they are actually weak to, the red one's weak to ice arrows, the blue one's weak to fire arrows. I'm not a very good shot. So let's do this the supposedly intended way. Now, as you can see, my magic is just kind of sitting up there draining the entire time. This fight, doing it the way intended, doing it and like being properly giant Link the entire time, does feel kind of neat. As you can see, though, I am quickly running out of magic meter. Here's some magic. We need to not be giant in order to grab. Okay, so now I'm not focused on trying to clear this without running out of magic. This fight feels pretty neat in the way that it's intended. The whole, like, giant Link in the desert fighting two worm creatures that are only protected, or are protected everywhere except for the head and tail. Kind of a neat concept, and it kind of works. The problem is, if you run out of magic, it sucks. It sucks so hard because there's just, like, nothing you can do about it. Hooray, second row of hearts. And, like, there's the intention here that you're supposed to break these various stone structures around the arena in order to get more magic, but you can only do that if you are Giant Link, and the snakes don't tend to do that for you. So, if you run out of magic, you gotta just sit there and shoot them with arrows for the most part, and that's really about all there is to it. If you're actually a good shot and you do the fight in the semi-intended way of, like, firing ice at the red one, fire at the blue one, and dealing that damage that way, the fight can actually go a lot faster. There is also one other mass that you can only use in very specific places, and that makes this fight different. not super great either, but, you know, different. And then there's the matter of the 3DS remake of this fight, which is an atrocity. That's about it. It becomes this weird, dumb, scripted wrestling match against snakes, and it's no fun, and it plays like garbage, and it just feels super bad the entire time. It's upsetting what they did to this fight in the remake for 3DS. Anyway. You've seized Twin Mold's remains. You have just freed the innocent spirit that this dark mask had kept imprisoned within the body of the evil Twin Mold.
Well, we've helped all of you. That's all we can do. Call us. That's what they're saying. Without being told, we understand. So now you'll help us out in exchange. We'll call you from atop the clock tower, so do something about him, alright? What? Their voices sound sad. You don't want to. Forgive your friend? Forgive our friend? What do you mean by forgive? What? Wait.
Okay. So, at this point we could go do in-game things. However, one, we still want to get all of our fairies and finish off Stone Tower Temple, so we're going to be doing that. However, real quick over here, we are going to buy ourselves a bean.
Hey, thanks for stopping by, Deku clientele and all that. Do you want a bean? How about one for the return trip? There you go, kid. Have a bean.
Okay, so just because... do I want to do... Alright. There's an intended way to get up here. Deku does mention, hey, I want to move to the city. We could just go on our way up here and grab that piece of heart. Just showing that off. We're going to do things legit eventually. So, I'm trying to figure out how I want to handle the rest of this series. Because, as is, we can go into the end game. Some part of me is actually kind of tempted to do the end game first and show you what it's like without going super completionist everything. Because that is an experience that I never had until the randomizer. And as it turns out, if you don't go super completionist and do all the things, then you don't get a certain mask that does oh so much and completely... heck. I wasn't expecting this place to already be inverted, so we're going to have to deal with uninverting here in a second. But I guess that does make it easier for beans. Anyway, the end game is very, very different, depending on if you have that one mask. If you do have the mask, then you are rewarded with essentially completely trivializing the end game. Like, the final boss sequence becomes almost a joke. Can I just, like, jump down here? Do I? And I could safely jump down that way. We don't need the bean. Big cash money. Bomb chews. A magic bean for the return trip. Or you can just do that. Anyway. So I'm kind of tempted to, like, just go straight to the end of the game, like, and do that, and just be like, oh, we're done. But not like done, because so much of what makes this game great and interesting is its side stories. Like, that's always been the thing that I love about Majora Massimos, is how much there is. I'm gonna go double check this guy over here just to make sure. Cool. Other things not in the way. it's like the main story of the game is actually like, it's really kind of interesting and like it has such a different tone from so many other Zelda games. But like overall, it's still like it's not what makes the game great. What makes it really great is all of the time-based NPC interactions and everything along those lines, which is not something we've been engaging with super hard in this series so far because we've been focusing on the main story stuff. It's like, for the most part, we haven't really interacted with people back in town since we were a Deku trapped in town. And it turns out there's just like so much to the world that we just haven't seen. Alright, there's one more chest. Am I going to get attacked by that dumb wasp thing? Yep. Fairy, no, come back. There we go. That's our last fairy. So overall, yeah, that's just kind of where I'm at. Is like, I'm tempted to show off what the end of the game looks like without going super completionist and like what kind of ends up missing from the ending. It's just like, we end up with a much harder final boss fight, which is interesting in its own right, but like we end up missing out on so much of the rest of the game. And like, again, the rest of the game is the secret sauce of Majora's Mask for the most part. So it's really all about, like, do we want to see an ending? I don't know why I'm gathering things. Like, ultimately it becomes, do we want to end up seeing an ending to this game? You know, let's check in with you two. Now that it's no longer haunted around here.
Who are you? Don't just walk into people's houses.
Right. We haven't met them in this timeline. Anyway, very valid.
Oh, compassionate one, I am the great fairy of kindness. Thank you for returning my broken and shattered body to normal. As thanks, I grant you the fairy's sword.
You got the Great Fairy's Sword, set at sea to use it. With black roses etched into it, the Great Fairy's Sword is the most powerful of all blades.
Come see me whenever you are overcome by weariness.
So there we go. Big sword. Very big sword. With much more reach than our sword. By a fair margin. A good chunk more damage, I do believe. And overall, just a really nice thing. It's also something we can use while jinxed. So even if I were to, be in a version of Ikana that's haunted, and therefore would have some skulls to run into here, then we could do things. Anyway, so we just have this big old sword now. And that's fun. Speaking of things that are fun, I don't know what that segue was supposed to be, but hey, it's time to call it a day, I think. But I don't know. I'm still stewing on how I want to go about with like the ending stuff for the series. So bear with me with that aspect. Before we actually end, I do want to go deposit all my rupees. And I do just want to try something real quick. There it is. So, a thing about light arrows is if you kill anything with it, then it drops a purple rupee, which makes gathering money super easy at this point. Alright, I should have gone with my original instinct. I was going to break Stone Tower Temple into 2 videos. One for Stone Tower Temple and one for Inverted Stone Tower Temple. And I think I'm going to do that in the edit. But unfortunately, that does... it does things, but anyway. Stuff and things and thoughts which are quickly escaping. We'll just throw our rupees in there. And then we're going to reset the cycle, so we have a nice hard save of we've done the 4 dungeons. We've got all of the remains. And we are ready to go into the endgame. Kind of. The question is, will I do that or not? I'm going to figure that out. And that's the end of that thought, I guess. There's nothing left. My brain is turning off. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I've been Bryce. This has been VHS Play. Have yourself a lovely evening.